Before this video gets going, I just wanted to update really quick. Thank you to everybody who participated on the Sun Eater related giveaway that I announced with the Shadows Upon Time review, and the couple of people who ended up voting after I released the Empire of Silence re-review. I appreciate all of you guys choosing to participate. There were a total of 39 unique voters. I will be pulling those 3 entrants here very soon, the winners for each of the 3 items, and contacting those people as relevant. So if you entered into the giveaway in any way, shape, or form, keep an eye out on your email here over the next week, because I will be rolling those winners here very soon and contacting them. Thank you one final time to everybody who voted. Now let's get into your regularly scheduled bi-weekly update. Welcome to A Fortnight on the Isle. I am your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and yet again, right at the start of this little update, it feels like it's been forever since the last one of them. It is genuinely just super liberating to just be able to work a lot of the time that I'm actually, around doing stuff. It's nice to be around to do stuff instead of just being at work all of the time. Although I suppose I didn't actually work a whole ton this fortnight, but we'll get into some of that a little bit later. Even so, it's just kind of a weird feeling coming around to weekends without a Fortnight on the Isle, because this is a bi-weekly update series. I only do this every other week, but I'm at a point where, like, every week still I feel like it's been 2 weeks worth of time, because I've been able to work enough where, according to my schedule the last couple years, that would have been like 2 weeks worth of work, and no, it's only been 1 week, so I just still kind of getting used to this whole freedom thing, I guess we could call it. But now that I spent the last week or so pretty much just straight up slugging out, I think it's time for some buckling down and actually getting some stuff done here over the first couple of weeks of August. So without further ado, let's jump into the update, starting with what I have been reading the last couple of weeks. The main thing of note is that I finished Winter's Heart, 9th book of the Wheel of Time. I don't remember where I was the last time that I did one of these. Like I said, each fortnight now lasts so long, it's just kind of like knowing exactly where I'm at and what I've gotten done, what I haven't gotten done in the last 2 weeks as opposed to before that, or something like that is kind of hard to know. Like, I know approximately what I got done over the past week, but the week before that is when things start to get fuzzy because it's just too much. But I did finish Winter's Heart. I was admittedly a little bit disappointed with the ending, all things considered. I go over that a little bit more in detail in this most recent Thursday's video. The last diary about this, the whole first like 10 minutes of that video is technically spoiler-free stuff where I talk about my kind of reaction to the book as a whole, more or less, and then here pretty soon, and we'll talk about this a little bit later as well, here pretty soon I'll do a review where I talk about where I rank this in accordance to the rest of the series, but I think some people might be surprised where I put it. But I did finish that over the last couple weeks, and it was nice to be able to finish it, but it's not one of my favorite books in the series, we shall say. Next up, I started actually reading While Darkness Gathers here this fortnight. Did not finish it. I'm, right about 2/3 of the way through. I forget exactly how far, maybe a little under 2/3, maybe a little over, not 100% sure. But either way, I did start this over the past week, but the past week was when I basically didn't do anything, and definitely didn't do anything productive for the most part. I got some things done, we'll talk about that later, like I've said so many times already in this video, but I did start this book last Monday. And then at the time of recording this on Saturday, I read a little bit more. I believe it's only been 3 days of reading, but I have not finished the book. I was hoping to have this done by the end of July. That was the plan. And then video games stole me away, and we'll talk about that here very shortly. But I'm enjoying my time with this. There's been a lot of great material in While Darkness Gathers that reminds me of certain things about the Adan trilogy that I loved, reminds me why I loved the Adan trilogy. So I'm having a very good time with this. Very surprised by some of the decisions that are made in it, even though a lot of those decisions make very obvious sense. So I'm having a lot of fun with it, and look forward to continuing. It's been kind of nice and refreshing to have a fantasy book like this set in an epic fantasy world that is less than 300 pages, so that's been kind of cool, and I've been enjoying my time with it. The other thing is that I continued reading Howling Dark by Christopher Ruocchio. At the time of recording this video, I'm about 33% of the way through the book. I was hoping to be a good bit further than I currently am at this point in Howling Dark, but I have been continuing to work my way through that. Going to continue to work my way through that in August, and will probably not be finishing it until about the end of August, and that is because here, starting this fortnight, of course, but over August entire, I'm going to be starting to read Don Quixote, and this will be my main read as soon as I'm finished with While Darkness Gathers, which it should only be like a day or so at the time of this video's release when I'm done with this. Once I'm done with While Darkness Gathers, Don Quixote will be my primary reading project, and then doing some Howling Dark on the side as well. So that is where things sitting on the novels and novellas side. As for short stories, I did read one short story over the last couple weeks. That was the 4th Adaman story by Christopher Ruocchio, so The Wages of Sin. I got access to that and read it, and true to word, it was the darkest of the Adaman stories so far, and might actually be my favorite. It's really, really good. I mean, all the Adaman stories are good, but this one is by far, well, it's not by far my favorite. It's like tied with the first Adaman story for my favorite, but it is definitely not The Pilgrim Road, which is easily my least favorite of the 4 stories. The Wages of Sin is like, it's up there. It's really, really good. I think anybody who's been enjoying Adaman this far will get all the things out of this story that make it such a rich and frankly kind of unique story in certain ways. There are elements of it that are like, this is really cool. I hope we get to see more of this to some degree. And quite frankly, just the way it was written, there's foreshadowing and stuff like that in the story, and the way that certain little arcs of it kind of round on each other is just perfect. I really, really loved the story, so I'm really glad that that's going to be coming out here on August 10th. So here in, what is it, like a week at the time of this video's release? Yes, next week. That should be available on Christopher's Patreon. So if you're at the $10 tier or above, I believe, you should be able to access that, or you'll be able to get that post, you know, kind of on the side. You'll be able to just purchase it standalone, so you don't have to be a member of the Patreon, but you ought to be able to purchase that to get the story, and I recommend you do so. The story is great. Also, on the short story front, I have access to, but have not had the chance to read quite yet, a Sun Eater related story called Life. And that's going to be part of an anthology called Unbroken, which I believe is going to be running a Kickstarter here very soon. That story, like I said, I have not read it yet, but Christopher did send it to me a few days ago, and I hope to read that here very soon. It'll probably be this coming fortnight that I get to that. Actually, might honestly be after I finish While Darkness Gathers. Before I start Don Quixote, I'll read that short story, and I'll let you know in the next Fortnight on the Isle what I think of that story, just kind of briefly, and obviously not going to give anything away, but I'm looking forward to reading that story for sure. But that is all for the reading, so let's talk about the gaming, the primary reason that I did not really do anything this week. And the main thing is that I finished playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So last time I talked about how I had gotten up to the end of Act 2. I'd seen like the opening of Act 3, but hadn't actually played Act 3. I did finish Act 3, had my world altered yet again, absolutely destroyed me. The end of that game is devastating. And knowing both endings of the game at this point, I'm just kind of left bereft by both of them. Never have I don't feel like I've had very many situations where I've genuinely felt like every character was right, but also understood that they were wrong at the same time. Because every character in Clair Obscur has a valid viewpoint and a valid interpretation of the world and their life and their purpose, like kind of what they mean in the world of Clair Obscur, that they're just all relatable in a way that's like, I get where this person's coming from, even if I wholeheartedly disagree with them, or I completely relate with this person, but also understand in the context why their conviction is wrong, or, you know, just any kind of brush in that spectrum there, pun sort of intended, I guess. There's so much to that game that is really, really cool and devastating story-wise, and it was a great time. I really enjoyed being able to finish that despite how much it hurt. And after finishing Act 3 of the game, I did go back and actually get effectively 100% on the New Game run. I started New Game Plus just to get through the prologue because there was the Mime and Lumiere that I hadn't killed yet for an achievement. That was the only achievement that I did not get on the first go-around. But instead of continuing with New Game Plus with how much time I spent just finishing the game this past week, I decided to end it there. I only started New Game Plus to be able to get that last achievement. Everything else about that second playthrough that I was planning to do is going to have to wait. I don't really have time to spend with Expedition 33 this month, unfortunately, and I know that playing New Game Plus with a broken build at this point wouldn't take nearly as long, but given that I spent about 90 hours in the game the first time, I'm satisfied with that, and will replay the game at some other point in the future. I'm excited to play it again because just what little I experienced from the prologue on New Game Plus, it's crazy seeing how much I missed and how much is frankly kind of obvious when you know it in there, just foreshadowing wise, that kind of thing. That makes me really excited to play the game again, but not going to do that right now. Of course, I don't have time this month, but that is where I'm at with Clair Obscur. Another thing that I haven't mentioned the last couple fortnights on the Isle, but that I have been playing, is just a little bit of Power Wash Simulator, kind of offhand. I played, I think, like a couple dozen hours or more of that game back during March Madness, and I remember talking about that back then while I was, you know, kind of in that point in time before Overhaul stole me away from everything, but while recovering from Overhaul as well and to relax a little bit in kind of like early July, I did play a little bit more, not a ton more of the game, maybe only like half dozen, maybe like 8 to 10 hours or something since returning from vacation, really, like maybe a dozen hours in the past 2 months combined, but I have played a little bit of that game here and there. I've maybe a couple dozen hours left in the game total to have done like everything that's in it. So maybe I'll continue playing that over the rest of the summer just because, and it's just I wanted to mention it. It's a pretty good old reliable type of game for me. I have been playing it, even though I haven't mentioned it the last couple of weeks. But other than that, what I'm planning to play over the coming fortnight is, well, this might not happen this fortnight. It might be next, but over August, I've been gauging early responses for my next live stream and Let's Play games. If you want more information on that, I'll include the link to the form and to the relevant video down in the description. But on the second channel, a couple weeks ago, I did release a video asking for people to vote on my next games, and there's a Google form attached to that for you to vote on games for me to Let's Play and to live stream. And Ghost of Tsushima took an early lead in the live stream section of that, surprisingly enough. And given that Ghost of Yotei is releasing here in early October, I actually really want to play Ghost of Tsushima. And since I've played that game a couple of times already, I know how it goes. I'd be fairly comfortable just being able to play it while learning effectively how to live stream. I don't think I will start it this fortnight, but that is something that I'm planning to do this month. Instead, this fortnight, what I'll probably end up doing is like a couple unlisted like test streams, playing some more Remnant 2, just another old reliable game for me, because I know that game, and I know that I need to do some audio settings and figure some stuff out on that front before I actually start live streaming for real. So that's what I'll probably end up doing with Remnant 2 over this fortnight, and then probably starting next fortnight, I'll start streaming Ghost of Tsushima or something like that. So that's kind of what I've got sort of planned-ish for the next couple of weeks. Keep an eye out on more stream information. If you want to vote on Let's Play and live stream games, check out the Google form that I've mentioned. As for the bi-weekly cinema, film, and TV, there's not anything that I have watched since last fortnight. That's not an uncommon occurrence. I don't really watch very much of anything, but some of you may remember early this year my mentioning that I wanted to watch some of the Indiana Jones movies since I played Indiana Jones and the Great Circle early in the year. Well, the DLC for that game comes out in about a month. I believe a month tomorrow at the time of this video's release. So I'm going to actually start making good on that this month to be watched probably this fortnight. I plan to watch the OG Indiana Jones trilogy, being Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and The Last Crusade. They're relatively lower priority, so if I don't get to them this fortnight, they'll definitely happen the fortnight after that. but that is basically all the viewing stuff that I have planned for the next couple of weeks. As for the videos that are going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks, the upcoming releases, I do have 4 videos coming out this week and 4 more next week. 3 on the main channel this week, 1 on the second channel. So this Tuesday on the 5th will be my regular monthly reading wrap-up and TBR video. Good to have a little bit less to talk about in that video than I had actually anticipated, but that's okay. I'm going to be doing that video on Tuesday anyway, getting back into the swing of things, because in July I didn't do a monthly reading wrap-up in TBR because it'd been like a month since I'd made a video in the first place, so it didn't really feel like the right way to return, you know? Either way, that'll be on Tuesday. On Wednesday will be my monthly wrap-up stuff, my state of affairs, going over more of the statistics and stuff associated with the channels, going over all of that information, so that'll be on Wednesday. Thursday will be the first part of a 2-part, like, little book binge sub-series. Episode 254 will be Why Literary Fiction Matters, arguing for classics in a sea of genre fiction, so that'll be a little discussion video that I do on Thursday. And then this Friday will be episode 2 of the Final Fantasy 1 Let's Play. Next week, on the main channel on Tuesday, the 12th, will be my review of Wild Darkness. Sorry, that's a lie, not Wild Darkness Gathers. It'll be my review of Winter's Heart by Robert Jordan. Like I said, it'd be pretty soon that I actually do the review of that, and I've committed to actually giving people a ranking of the series, my ranking of the series up to this point in that video. So that's going to be interesting. That'll be next Tuesday. Next Wednesday, and I actually have a question mark next to this because I'm not 100% certain if this is going to happen or not. It's the hope, but I'm like 95% sure that I won't quite have the time for it. That's why I have a question mark next to it. My second official A Brief Review episode for video game review stuff might come out on the 13th. That will be for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Not anybody needs me to tell them that the game's a good game. Everybody has known this for like 3 months at this point, so no new information there. But I do have what I feel like is a relatively unique angle that I do want to explore that topic from, that I do want to review that game from. So I'm going to work on writing that over the next couple of weeks. It is not likely that that video will actually come out next Wednesday on the 13th. It'll probably be the week after that. So don't get your hopes up, but there is the possibility, if I'm able to get all of the other things that I have planned for this month, really video-wise, done over the next week, there's a possibility that I might be able to actually finish that video soon, but I certainly wouldn't count on it. In fact, the more that I talk about it, the less certain that I am that that would happen. So tentative, that might release on the 13th, but whether it does or not, next Thursday on the 14th on the main channel will be the second part in that book binge series that I mentioned, where this Thursday we'll be talking about why literary fiction matters. Next Thursday we'll be talking why genre fiction matters, why it's important for there to be tropes in our books, and why it's okay for certain books to just be popcorn flicks, so to speak, to just be there for entertainment value, even if they don't serve anything meaningful, and for us to recognize that even popcorn can serve things meaningful as well. So there's a 2-part discussion that I want to have. These are video ideas that I've had for, I don't know, probably like a year and a half at this point, if I'm being honest with you. It's been a while, but I've wanted to explore those ideas, and I'm going to actually do that these next couple Thursdays. Here's hoping that I can do those topics justice, because I have a good bit to say, and I have some people to call out in those videos as well. Not anybody on YouTube, they're personal friends of mine. It'll just be shooting the shit, you know, but that's basically what I have planned for the next couple Thursdays. And the next Friday on the second channel on the 15th will be the 3rd episode of JRPG Noob Plays Final Fantasy 1. So that'll be the 3rd episode of that Let's Play. And that's basically what I have planned for the upcoming releases. Here at the very end of the video, I do just want to mention that while I'm going to be spending the next couple of weeks really buckling down on videos, a lot of this month is comprised of random doctor's appointments. So I've got some other random stuff going on. I've still got the video schedule that I'm going to be working on, but the back half of this month is when a lot of those things happen. This first couple weeks of the month are relatively free, but the back half is going to be a little bit more busy on some of those things. So at this point, I'm going to be working on getting a lot of things done early this fortnight. That means I'll be working a lot the next couple of weeks, and then relaxing and doing some kind of behind the scenes work, some things that you won't see for a little while after that. And like I said, I'm going to be testing some live stream stuff and stuff like that as I'm able and as I have time. I'll let you know any pertinent information related to any of the things that I've got going on as they are relevant and, you know, whenever they become applicable. So there's that kind of stuff. And like I said, keep an eye out for live stream information for the second channel. If I do any gaming live stream specifically, that will be on the second channel. So if you're watching this on the main channel, head over to King Crusoe the Second or at King Crusoe VODs. It's linked in the description below if you want to check that out. And be on the lookout for any potential gaming live stream related stuff. So I'd greatly appreciate it. You don't have to, but I'm looking forward to that nonetheless. I'm also going to try to get a little bit more consistent with social media for the rest of Q3. So down in the description below, same place, the second channel is linked. Main channel is also linked if you're watching this on the second channel. And all of my socials are linked down there as well. So I'm going to try to get caught up on a little bit of that stuff, but this fortnight's already looking a little bit packed, so we'll see what happens. Either way, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it if you did so. For now, I've been your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and I hope to see you guys in any of the videos that I post over the next couple weeks, and also hope to see you in any live streams I potentially start doing. Thank you one final time for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next video.